Paschatadeshatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So yesterday there was a verse about how the devotee of the Lord is very, very rare. And we see throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam that the devotees are glorified. We also see that the whole Bhagavatam is actually a series of conversations. So we'll have a conversation between Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisaranya. They ask questions. Sutta Goswami begins to recite Bhagavatam. And then Bhagavatam begins in second canto with, after the first canto talks about Parikshit and everybody else, and then Parikshit begins to ask questions to Sukadeva Goswami, and then Sukadeva Goswami begins to recite Srimad Bhagavatam, starting in the second canto and ending in 12th canto. So and then within then we have further conversations with Narada Muni or Vidura and Maitreya or other personalities, and this way knowledge is conveyed and the speaker is glorified, like Sukadeva was glorified, Parikshit, etc. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So today we have the blessed good fortune of having with us His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj. Few months ago, Maharaj came for 3-4 days and he gave some programs here and also in Camp Temple. The devotees were very thrilled and we requested him to stay longer and again visit us. His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj was born in Canada on 26 December 1948 to Japanese parents, and he is one of the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and he holds a BA degree in Oriental Fine Arts History from the University of British Columbia. He joined ISKCON in India in 1970 and then initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 71, and he took sannyas vows in 1982. And he was personally instructed in the art of deity worship by Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj is expert in many fields, one of which is deity worship. Maharaj also knows astrology. Maharaj also knows judo. You know judo? I think Maharaj knows many things like that. And he also has translated more than 100 books from Sanskrit to English. And that is one of the main contributions of Maharaj. And he has become an authority on the topic of deity worship. He is a great inspiration for many devotees across the globe, and he preaches Krishna consciousness in Japan, India, Japan, Malaysia, Australia and Russia. In Chennai, in those days, in Burkitt Road, there used to be a small temple, and Maharaj would perform Mangalarti and give Bhagavatam class almost every day, sometimes 2-3 months, and then he would travel outdoor, he would come back. Now there is a beautiful big temple in Chennai. His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj's base is Chennai, and his great Sumitra Krishna Prabhu and team TMT, they have a temple, my team is running that Radha Krishna temple. You should definitely visit if you haven't been there, because the temple has Vastu, according to Vastu, all the different deities are put in different places. You will see on the ceiling. That's a whole design was made by Maharaj, and very marvelously done temple. He is a scholar in Sanskrit and Bengali. He has translated more than 100 significant works of Gaudiya Vaishnava canon, and many of these works are commentaries from main acharyas of our line of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And Maharaj is a great achiever and has studied a variety of disciplines including martial arts, Reiki healing, astrology, mudras, Carnatic music, especially Maharaj plays on Veena. And Maharaj's depth of scholarship has enabled him to create presentations on topics like Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj also prepares very nice PowerPoints on both Shastric subjects as well as leadership subjects. Every Wednesday, Maharaj gives morning 9:45 to 10:30. There is a session which comes in Bhakti scriptures. You will see that Maharaj has been reaching out to leaders also. And different topics like theory, reincarnation, karma theory, yoga, mysteries of sound, astrology, very scientific topics also Maharaj does. He continues with his translation service to this day, giving us the nectar from the Bengali and Sanskrit works of the previous Vaishnava Acharyas, to enhance our understanding of the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. And Maharaj is also a member of the GBC, and Maharaj is here in Pune for the GBC meeting, and I was requesting that you please stay longer with us and give us your association. And Maharaj, especially I have heard him speak on the Rasa Tattva very deeply, and the 5 rasas and comparison of Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka and all very deeply Maharaj can do from various literature. And Mayapur Dham I have heard it. And Maharaj also gave one presentation on Guru Tattva also, on Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Vartma Prashad Guru and everything.
Today.
Oh, so he gives a very, very deep understanding which made, which gave good clarity to many devotees across the globe. So let us thank Maharaj and also welcome him to Shri Radha Chandra temple with one Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj ki.
Okay. So as I mentioned that Bhagavatam contains all these conversations between devotees. One devotee is speaking, one devotee is hearing. Similarly, we have Krishna himself speaking in Bhagavatam in the 11th canto to Uddhava. And of course we have other works like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaking to Arjuna. And there Krishna gives knowledge, or great devotees like Narada Muni are giving knowledge in all these cases. And as Bhagavatam states, we have to give proper respect to Guru. And of course, just now we had Guru Puja, and we worship Srila Prabhupada because he has given us all these scriptures like Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the idea of Guru is very, very prominent in our literature and in the practice of ISKCON. At the same time, we also see at ISKCON maybe the process of Guru worship becomes over-prominent. And then we have a counter movement against that. In the early movement after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, then the devotees who became gurus or were appointed as gurus, then they just did whatever Prabhupada did, and they got the same worship of Prabhupada, they sat on the same similar vasasanas, etc. But that didn't work out too well after some years. So that type of idea was discouraged. And then there was like 11 gurus or whatever, and then instead of that there's more gurus. But essentially these are Diksha Gurus, or what we call Diksha Gurus. And everybody at ISKCON aspires to take initiation from a Diksha Guru. I think in the Bhakti class they probably encourage you have to take initiation, etc. So then you aspire, it's like some sort of step progress to get initiated, and then you're at a certain status. So of course it is there as part of our spiritual progress, but it also becomes maybe a status symbol. If you're not initiated, you're considered less. If you got initiation, you're more. So it maybe has a little bit of a material connotation to it also, that it's like, you got a better position, spiritual position, simply because you're initiated. And then, of course, the other idea is that people compete for the position of Guru. That we have all, like GBCs and regional secretaries and temple presidents, so that's one type of position you can get. But then the other is Diksha Guru. And then that seems to be a little more rare than a temple president or even a GBC person, but it's also more of a coveted position, so that people aspire to be a Diksha Guru, and that becomes also, of course, it's spiritual, but it also has its material connotation that then you got control of people because it's a powerful position. So it has its material aspect as well. So this, of course, is the tradition is spiritual. We have gurus and Diksha Gurus and Shiksha Gurus, etc. But we also have to be very careful that we don't mix in the material connotations with it. And we do actually understand what we're doing as gurus and as Diksha Gurus. And often everything becomes a little confused. And when that confusion takes place, then often the position of guru becomes confusing for the disciple and also for the spiritual master. And it can lead to all sorts of dangerous positions, also conditions, we can say, for the guru and for the disciples, because they misunderstand the position of guru. So we do have to understand that. So we have many statements from scripture, etc. So here I've just tried to compile something from scripture so we have a little bit of a clear idea about what gurus are. So basically we have two types of gurus. In the beginning days of ISKCON, we didn't have idea of different gurus. There was only one guru, and that was Srila Prabhupada. And then we took initiation from Prabhupada, and we read his books. That's all. And we worshipped him, and we do Guru Puja. That's all. After Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, then there were not one guru, but many gurus. First there were 11 gurus, then after that there were more gurus. So the society became a little more complex because we have many different gurus instead of one guru. And Prabhupada was also not only the guru, he was the head manager, so he was everything. But then later on we have many gurus, and then we have a GBC who takes the place of the managerial authority, Srila Prabhupada. So we got a little bit of a bifurcation between gurus and GBC. And then we have, of course, not one manager, many managers, 36 GBCs or whatever. And then we have not one guru, many gurus. So it's a little more complex society. Yet Srila Prabhupada's vision was to keep ISKCON united. But then we have all these groups, GBCs versus gurus, and then many gurus and many GBCs. So it's a little bit, it's this tendency to get diversified and split up because of that. And we do see often there is divisions based upon gurus, more than on GBCs, more on gurus, loyalty to gurus, this guru over that guru or whatever like that. So we get divisions that way as well. So, as I said at the beginning, only one guru, but now we have many gurus, etc. So we do have to try to understand the situation carefully in order to have unity in ISKCON. And at the same time, we should have a clear idea just for our own position as a disciple of some guru. And the guru should also have a good understanding of what he's actually doing as a guru. So in the beginning, it was only one guru, Srila Prabhupada, but then he came out with the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then the very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita and Adi Leela, then it talks about two different types of gurus. A mantra guru and a shiksha guru, which is there. Instructing spiritual master and initiating spiritual master. So the mantra guru is the initiating spiritual master, and the shiksha guru is one who gives, obviously, instructions, shiksha. That's okay. But we have two types of gurus then, not just one guru. Of course, one guru can have both roles, and that's what Srila Prabhupada did. So there was no confusion then. But after Srila Prabhupada then, during his life, he published this work, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we find there's two types of gurus. But not only two types of gurus, it says they're equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. So they do different things, but somehow they are also equal. Equal what way I think we say respect and whatever. But they're actually doing different things. But two different types of gurus are there. Yeah. And he even talks about the spiritual master the initiating spiritual master is a manifestation of Madana Mohan deity, the Vrindavan deity. And the instructing spiritual master is a representation of Govinda deity. Who's superior, Govinda or Madana Mohan? We don't know. Anyway, we have representing Krishna in different functions. In other words, the Govinda Dev is for seva, actually. And Madana Mohan is one who delivers you from, Maya, etc. Like that. So we have the idea like that. But the emphasis is that there's no difference between the shelter-giving Supreme Lord and initiating and instructing spiritual masters. They're all identical in some sense, and we shouldn't distinguish between them. So this is a rather interesting concept because we also know that the jiva is always different from God, and we cannot equate God with the jiva, and yet we're saying they're all equal. So how do we do that? How do we make them equal? And of course, one is by worship. So as the scripture says, as you worship Supreme Lord, you should worship Guru, and then all the knowledge of scripture is revealed. So in terms of tattva, philosophical or ontological, they're different. Jiva and Ishvara are different. But in terms of respect, we give equal respect. This, of course, also is a little bit confusing sometimes. We have to worship Guru like God, but it's commonly stated in the scriptures. Like, of course, every morning we sing Guru Vastakam. The Sakshat Hari. So Guru is directly God. He's directly Hari. So not because the jiva becomes God, but because he gets respect like that. In Madhya Lila also we have a definition. A spiritual master who first gives information about spiritual life is called the Pradarshika Guru, which literally means one who shows the path. So someone who shows you the path and gives you the first information about Bhagavad Gita and Krishna and Bhakti as being superior to karma or Gyan or yoga or material life, then he would be your Vartma Pradarshika Guru. Master who initiates according to regulations of scriptures called the Diksha Guru. Spiritual master gives instruction for elevations called the Shiksha Guru. Of course, the Vartma Pradarshika Guru also was a type of Shiksha Guru. But anyway, we have a distinction in terms of function. The Diksha Guru is one, and the other is the Shiksha Guru who gives instruction. And the Diksha Guru actually gives initiation. So that we have to define. Furthermore, in Adi Lila, Prabhupada explains that the Shiksha Gurus, instructing spiritual master, there are two kinds. One is a liberated person who meditates in devotional service. In other words, one who has bhava or prema. The other is one who's not on that level, but is giving instructions to help the devotee advance. So there could be gurus, but they could be on different levels also. We could have someone on prema, and we can have someone below that. And still they're called gurus. And we have to treat them like God. But there's a little condition there I'll explain later. This is basically the same thing. It's from Bhagavatam, of course. This is talking about Narada Muni was the Diksha Guru of Dhruva because he gave a mantra. And Suniti, his mother, gave instructions. So she was a Shiksha Guru. But she was also a guru, even though she was a woman. And a mother, as she was a Shiksha Guru at least. It is the duty of the Shiksha or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process according to scriptural Shastric injunctions. There is no difference between Shiksha and Diksha Guru, and generally Shiksha Guru later on becomes a Diksha Guru. Yeah, this is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, also by Jiva Goswami in the Bhakti Sandarbha, that often the Shiksha Guru may become the Diksha Guru also. Yeah? But the idea is here that there's one sense they're not different. The function may be different, but they're also non-different in the sense that they're both representing Krishna, and they should be given proper respect. This is just, I don't have that much time, so I'll just go over this very quickly. This is from Jiva Goswami. One accepts a guru who teaches, Shiksha Guru, the method of worship called bhajana. Who was the previous Sravana Guru. You hear from him, then you get instructions on how to perform bhakti. So he's a Sravana Guru, then it becomes a Shiksha Guru. If one has many Sravana Gurus, among them one may accept one of them as Shiksha Guru to whom one has great attraction. So you get many Shiksha Gurus, but then you select one as a major Shiksha Guru. Selecting a person to whom one is attracted, person takes only one person as a mantra Guru. Since many mantra gurus are forbidden. So there's a little difference here between the Diksha Guru, only one. Can't take many Diksha Gurus, but you could have many Shiksha Gurus. Even many principal Shiksha Gurus. You could have many, and then out of that you could have a few Shiksha Gurus, but you could only take one Diksha Guru. So a little bit of difference there. The Sravana Guru, from whom it gets either through Vichara, Ruchi, and the Bhajana Shiksha Guru are generally the same person. Okay, no problem. Okay, so what do we do with the Shiksha Guru? So we have Vedic injunctions about Shiksha. This is from the Mundaka Upanishad, particularly here, the last two lines. Tad Vigyanartam Sagurum Eva Bigachet, which Prabhupada often quotes. You'll see it in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and other places. One must approach the Guru in order to get Vijnana, knowledge. And then, of course, it says you have to carry wood in your hand, which is traditionally, obviously, Vedic. Like Krishna and Balaram went out in the forest and they collected firewood, because every morning you have to light the fires or keep the fires going or whatever like that, and do homa every day. So the brahmacharis have to go out and collect wood every day. So basically, you have to serve the Guru in this Vedic way of course, not just carrying wood, etc., but that's one of the things. Okay. Okay, so approaches a guru fixed in Brahman, Brahmanishtam, and skillful in scriptures in order to know Brahman. So this is a Vedic injunction from Mundaka Upanishad, talking about a Vedic guru. So why I say Shiksha Guru is because basically this is what is happening here. We're not talking about Vaishnava initiation and worshiping Krishna or anything. We're talking about studying the Vedas. It could be a Karmakanda Guru or whatever, which often it is. So Brahmacharya just learns the Vedas. So the teacher teaches him in the Gurukul and he learns. So this is that Guru in the Gurukul. Who was the Diksha Guru? In terms of Vedas, the Diksha Guru is the father. In other words, you get mantra. It's the mantra guru is the Diksha Guru. Who gives the mantra for the Vedas? The father gives Upanayanam. He gives the mantra. So he's generally your Diksha Guru, Vedic Diksha Guru. We're not talking about Vaishnava, just talking about Vedas. Okay. So this is a famous verse we often quote about Diksha Guru for ISKCON or Vaishnava, but actually it's a Shiksha Guru in the Gurukul. Yeah? Like Krishna and Balaram. Sandipani Muni was the guru, but he was not the Diksha Guru. They just went there after they got, Vasudev gave them the mantra. They did Upanayanam and Mathura, then they sent them off to the Gurukul. So in other words, it's about Shiksha Guru. So you must approach the Guru, the Shiksha Guru, who knows about Brahman in order to realize Brahman. Here's another one from Mundaka Upanishad. A guru will teach Brahma Vidya and truth to the student who has completely surrendered, who has controlled his mind, who has controlled his senses. By that knowledge, he will know the eternal, indestructible Lord. So, of course, Brahman we can take as impersonal Brahman for some, but we'll take it more on the impersonal level, that is Supreme Lord. Brahman is non-different from Krishna or whatever. So we can take it that way also. But the emphasis, again, is upon the guru who teaches in the Gurukul. Then you have to give him proper respect. You surrender to him. Another famous one, Svetasvatara Upanishad. To the great soul who has great bhakti for the Lord and Guru, the meaning of what was spoken are revealed. So in other words, you should have equal devotion to Guru as you have for Supreme Lord. So again, we have this idea of proper respect given to Guru. But, this is again Upanishad. So it's not the Diksha Guru at all you're giving respect to, it's your Shiksha Guru. But we quote this for Diksha Guru, but actually it's for Shiksha Guru. Of course, it can apply to both, but in the context, it was actually Shiksha Guru. Here's another one, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. We also quote that quite a lot. That's in, he's found Bhagavad Gita and other places. The person who has Acharya or Guru knows that the Lord is here, Chandogya. So who is the Acharya? Again, it's the Vedic Acharya. It's the Shiksha Guru. So you treat your Shiksha Guru in the Gurukul as God. So, apart from Upanishadic statements, we do have statements in Bhagavatam and other places. So many Puranas will talk about it as well. So this is one from the Bhagavatam, talking about the Guru who gives Jnana Dipa. Guru. So the Guru who gives knowledge, the light of knowledge. So you have to, Sakshat Bhagavati, you have to treat him directly as God. Spiritual masters should be considered to be directly the Supreme Lord because he gives transcendental knowledge for enlightenment. So again, we have the idea that you have to treat the Guru like God, etc. This is from 7th canto. Right? And from 11th canto also, a very famous one. One should know Acharya as myself, Acharya mam vijaniyam. You should think of the Acharya as me, Krishna is speaking. Never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, think him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. If we look at the context of this is spoken by Krishna, talking about the Brahmacharya ashram. So he's talking about the Brahmacharya again, giving respect to the Guru in the ashram. Again, it's the Shiksha Guru. But Jiva Goswami gives an interesting comment here. You're just going to the Gurukul, you're getting your knowledge of the Vedas, which includes Karmakanda and everything. Still, so if the Guru is teaching you Karmakanda, you have to see him as God, even the Karmakanda Guru. So it doesn't just apply to Vaishnavism, but gurus in general, we would say. Of course, it applies to even the music guru is like God also. So if you're learning music, learning a sitar or something, then you have to go to the guru, and then you have to treat him like God and offer flowers to him and everything. Otherwise, he won't teach you anything. Huh? So it applies to the material world also even, but we're applying this spiritually, not just to Vaishnavism, but to Vedas in general, and even beyond the Vedas to Puranas, etc. So the respect for Guru as God is kind of a universal concept accepted for getting knowledge, and particularly spiritual knowledge. And of course, we also say the highest spiritual knowledge, which is Bhagavata knowledge. Okay, so the respect is there. So we talked about the Shiksha Guru and the respect for the Shiksha Guru. Most of those quotes are about Shiksha Guru, actually, respect giving, treating that Shiksha Guru as God. Now we come to Diksha. And we have these two famous verses, of which is quoted in the Nectar of Instruction, Divigyanam Yato Dajat, Kuryat Papasya Sankshayam, Tasmat Diksheti Saprokta. That is Diksha. So we often quote this verse, but it's actually connected to another verse, the next second verse. And the two should be read together, not independently. Then we'll get the correct meaning of what Diksha is. So what is the meaning? Diksha is so called by the wise because it bestows Divyaganam, some knowledge to attain Krishna, and destroys sin. Of course, you see it says Diksha iti. So we wonder why particularly Divyaganam, why doesn't he say something else? Why destruction of sin? Why not realize Radharani or something, whatever. So the meaning of Diksha he's taking here is like in Mamsa. We take Mamsa as me and he. Mam is me and Sa is he. I killed the animal, now he gets to kill me. So that means Mamsa. So in other words, you get karma by eating meat or killing the animal, etc. So this is Diksha, again, is defined in terms of its syllables, like Mam and Sa. So we have Di and Ksha. Di for Divyaganam, Ksha for Chaya. Papasya Samchayam. A destruction. So destruction of sin and Divyaganam. Of course, more things are there with Diksha or whatever, but these are things, so that he's taking these two things as representative of the process of Diksha. Now, if we just take this verse alone, then we may think, okay, I take a Diksha Guru, then I get transcendental knowledge, I destroy my sin. Nobody else can do that, even the Shiksha Guru can't do that, because I'm taking Diksha. But that's not the real point here, because we have to take the second verse. Which means, therefore one should offer respect to Guru, offer him everything, and accept Vaishnava mantra according to the rules while taking Diksha. So in other words, the Diksha process of just getting transcendental knowledge, destroying sin, but he's saying it's through Vaishnava mantra. So the process of Diksha, it's called the mantra guru, there's a Diksha guru, the one who gives the mantra. If he doesn't give the mantra, he's not a Diksha guru. He could give transcendental knowledge, but he's not a Diksha guru. So the mantra guru is the one who gives the mantra, and then he's called Diksha guru. But what is that mantra? It's not Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, we know from Chaitanya, does not need Diksha. Everybody chants it before they get Diksha. So Diksha is a special mantra, which is secret. And the Guru gives the Diksha mantra to the disciple, and the disciple does not reveal that Diksha mantra to anybody unless he becomes a Guru and initiates the disciple, then he gives the mantra to the disciple. That's the Diksha mantra. So the Guru who gives that Diksha mantra is called the Diksha Guru. What's the knowledge connected to that? How did we destroy the sin? Through the mantra. When you get the mantra, you get your transcendental knowledge, and you destroy your sin. What is the knowledge? Jiva Goswami says, Divyaganam is knowledge of the form of the Lord, knowledge of one's particular relationship with the Lord, in the mantra. So in other words, you get a mantra, The mantra is about a particular form of the Lord. It could be Narayan, it could be Nrsimha, it could be Rama, it could be Krishna. It gives you a particular mantra. Okay, now you know, I have to worship Krishna. If he gives you Rama mantra, then you have to worship Rama. So in this way, particular form of the Lord is given. It's Rama, Krishna, or whatever. Huh? And knowledge of one's particular relationship. What's our relationship? In the mantra itself, we usually have words like Namaha. So we're the servant of the Lord. We don't become the Lord. We are the servant of the Lord. And of course, there could be expanded meanings. I'm the servant of Dasya or Sakya or Vatsalya or whatever, Madhurya. So basically, it's in the mantra. So it's the mantra which defines the Diksha Guru and distinguishes from the Shiksha Guru. The Shiksha Guru also gives transcendental knowledge. If he doesn't give transcendental knowledge, what kind of knowledge does he give? Material knowledge? So the Shiksha Guru is not giving proper knowledge? No. He's also giving transcendental knowledge. What does transcendental knowledge do? Destroys sin. HareKrishna destroys sin more than you can commit. Ajamil destroyed all the sin by saying the name of Narayan once. All Papa was destroyed. Yeah? And that was not mantra. That was nama. That was the name of the Lord only. Yeah? So it's not that Diksha gives Divyaganam and destroys sin and nothing else does. That is done by Shiksha Guru, also done by the holy name. But it's done through the mantra. That is the defining portion of Diksha. So, we get the mantra. What do we do with the mantra? What do we do with it in ISKCON, the mantra? Chant it? 3 times a day. 10 minutes. Actually, that's one thing we do. The other is, it's for deity worship. That's its actual function. So you get the mantra, and then with that mantra, you worship a particular deity. So it's particularly for Archana. So that's why in Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami says, this Diksha process is mainly for rich householders doing deity worship. Why rich householders? Because poor householders don't have the money to spend on deities and give lots of garlands and food, etc., offer food, etc. Babaji's not going to bother. But rich householders, they got money, and they should spend their money on the deity, not on their sense gratification. So it's a good engagement for rich householders to have deities, take Diksha, use the mantra to worship the deity. Without the mantra, you cannot worship the deity. So we also say that you have second initiation, you cannot worship the deity unless you have second initiation. So that's because of that. So, of course, this Diksha is very much emphasized in Pancharatric scriptures because they are to do with deity worship. Pancharatras for deity worship. So they'll emphasize Diksha and say, without Diksha, your whole life is useless. If you don't take Diksha, everything is useless. All your activities are useless. Huh? So therefore, you have to take Diksha, as this Hari Bhakti Vilas says. Just as Brahmanas who have not taken the thread are not qualified for studying the Vedas or other duties and gain qualification from receiving the thread. In other words, without the thread and without the mantra, you can't chant the Vedas. Those who haven't taken Diksha are not qualified for uttering the mantra or worshipping the deity. Therefore, one should undergo Diksha and be praised by Shiva, whatever. So you have to take Diksha. So as far as Pancharatra, yes, you can't advance as a Vaishnava unless you worship the deity. You can't worship the deity unless you take Diksha. So therefore, Diksha is necessary in order to advance the spiritual life. That's the Pancharatra concept. Yeah. Another verse. Unless one is initiated by bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. I think this is quoted in the, the disciple course. So that everybody says, I have to take initiation because all of my devotional activity is useless unless I got initiation. But actually this is it's true in one sense, but it is particularly for Pancharatra. Okay? If we're following Pancharatra, yes, then we have to take initiation because we have to worship the deity and there's nothing else. This is the main part of Vaishnava activity, to worship the deity. So I have to take initiation. If I don't do it, everything is useless. A person who is not properly initiated can descend again into the animal species. So then people get scared and I have to take Diksha because of that. So anyway, we do have the Diksha. no problem. We have, in ISKCON, we have Diksha also. We have deity worship. We chant our mantra for that, etc. We also have Shiksha. Prabhupada wrote all these books. You don't have to have initiation to read the books. It's open for everybody, so the teachings are also there, and we have people to teach that. So we have both things going on. Yeah. And sometimes the Diksha Guru, for instance, will combine both. He will give teachings. He will also give the deity mantra. So he performs both functions of Shiksha and Diksha. Yeah. So Diksha becomes very prominent and we say necessary when Archana is the main process in Bhakti. That is in Pancharatra. And previous to Lord Chaitanya, this was the process that you had to do Archana. That was the main process of being a devotee of Vaishnava. And we'll see that's emphasized in many sampradayas like the Sri Sampradaya or the Madhva Sampradaya. The deity worship that's the main process for them. So therefore, Diksha necessary. With Lord Chaitanya, however, deity worship is not the main process. What is the main process? Harinam, Nam Sankirtan. This is Yuga Dharma. This is the main process. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, what does Lord Chaitanya do most of the time? He goes out and tells everybody, chant the holy name. He performs Harinam everywhere. That's all. So Archana and Diksha become less important in the movement of Lord Chaitanya. So not so much emphasized. Now we have verses like Pancharatric verses or Hari Bhakti Vilas saying, unless you're initiated, your whole life is useless. But with Lord Chaitanya, different. We're not relying on deity worship. We're relying on Harinam. And what is Harinam? It does not rely on Diksha. Of course, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we do have some emphasis on Diksha. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders unto the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him as good as himself. So there's verses like that. When the devotee's body is thus transformed into spiritual existence, the devotee is in a transcendental body renders service to the lotus feet of the Lord. So glorification of Diksha also. But the main emphasis is always given to chanting the holy name as the main deliverance and the main method by which we get prema. And we don't have to rely on any other process. Just chant the holy name, you can get prema. So over and over, this is the main emphasis. And it is independent. O best of the Brahmanas, even without initiation, preliminary purification, or acceptance of the renounced order, one can attain perfection in devotional service simply by chanting the Lord's holy name. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna. Once the person is relieved from all reactions of a sinful life, one can complete the 9 processes of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name. So we rely only on chanting the holy name. So, of course, this is what we do. Our main vow is to chant Hare Krishna, not the deity mantras. So we spend a lot of time chanting Hare Krishna. We do our japa. We have kirtan in the temple. One does not have to undergo initiation or execute the activities required before initiation. One simply has to vibrate the holy name with his lips. Thus, even the man of the lowest class can be delivered. So, we do have 2 processes. We still continue Diksha because we do have deity worship as one of the important angas of bhakti, but it is always secondary. So the Diksha is there, the mantra is there, and we can relate with Krishna that way, but it is called the Pancharatrika Marga. We have the other process of Nama, chanting the name of Krishna, which does not require Diksha, but we do need some jnana, we do need knowledge, therefore we have books like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. This is called Bhagavata Marga. And this is the Yuga Dharma. This is the more important process for us. So the name is more important than the mantra, and consequently this whole process of chanting should be more prominent for us. And Diksha is there, but it is a secondary process. The 2 things are there, but we give prominence to Bhagavata Marga over Pancharatrika Marga. Okay, so we do have deity worship there because people are restless, they have to engage their senses and mind, etc. So we continue the service that way. But why do we stress Diksha Guru and getting initiated, etc. so much? We see Lord Chaitanya took Diksha. Why does he have to take Diksha? Lord Chaitanya took Diksha, then suddenly he's transformed, he comes back to Navadvip and he's chanting the holy name. So why he has to take Diksha at all? He could just chant the holy name. And we find that Advaitacharya took Diksha, Gadadhar took Diksha, Nityananda took Diksha, Srinivasacharya took Diksha. Everybody takes Diksha still. That's no problem. But again, we see that they did not emphasize that in their life. They didn't tell everybody you have to take Diksha. They said everybody should chant the holy name. That's all. So one reason, of course, is they're following tradition. They don't want to break tradition, just like Krishna also follows tradition, and he does all of his karmas every day, and he gets up in the morning and chants Gayatri mantra. Krishna doesn't have to do anything, but he does all this to show people that if you don't have faith in bhakti, at least do something. So follow the traditional, process of taking initiation like a regular Vaishnava, but again, emphasis again is not on that, it's on chanting the holy name. So for traditional sake, they do that. And this is continued within the different lines, largely hereditary lines. Goswamis from Advaitacharya line is there, from Gadadhara line is there, different lines are there, largely hereditary lines of Diksha gurus coming down, we call the Goswami lines. And even the Raganuga was passed through these lines. Yeah, okay, anyway. So, in ISKCON, we have Diksha gurus who give the Diksha mantra, they also give Shiksha. We have Shiksha gurus who also give Shiksha. Originally, I said that you're supposed to, according to scripture, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, you treat the guru as God, and originally it was a Shiksha guru who was like God, but Shiksha, Diksha guru, you treat them both as God, like this. But in ISKCON, actually we treat the Diksha guru like that, but we don't treat the Shiksha guru like that. So we have a little problem there. As I say, we're emphasizing the Diksha part again. It's not only ISKCON. We'll say that in general, the Gaudiya Sampradaya, they say, who's your Diksha guru again? So they do an emphasis on Diksha also in other places, even Gaudiya Mat. But we see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was against that, and therefore he didn't trace a Diksha line at all, which is shocking. Everybody else was tracing Diksha lines and Gaudiya Sampradaya, and he decided he wouldn't even trace a Diksha line. He traced a Shiksha line instead. And when the other people, conservative Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, look at this is not a proper Prabhupada, because it wasn't a Diksha line, but it was a Shiksha line. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was also emphasizing Shiksha over Diksha. Here's some statements about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. To some disciples, he never awarded Diksha, deeming Harinam alone sufficient for their spiritual progress. He stated, successive Diksha is inclination for Harinam. Whoever remains fixed in chanting inoffensively should be understood to have undergone Diksha and all other processes. So he didn't consider Diksha so important. Just chant holy name. The Dikshita, one who is initiated, is inferior to the Harinam Asrita. So one who is chanting holy name is better than one who is initiated. That's what he's saying. For those who don't believe the name and the named are non-different, that Krishna and his name are non-different, deity worship and Diksha is required. So if you actually understand the name is not different from Krishna, you don't need Diksha. That's what he's saying. Just chant HareKrishna. So, quite revolutionary. Even though it is, if you look at Chaitanya Charitamrita, yes, correct. What he's saying is correct, because this was emphasized there also. So in Gaudiya Mat and other Gaudiya lines also, and in ISKCON, we emphasize the Diksha over the Shiksha for some reason. Even though we're chanting Harinam Pramana, we emphasize Diksha over Shiksha. And the Diksha ceremony also has become even more complicated than it previously was. In fact, we have 2 initiations, which is also something unheard of before. We get fire sacrifice, we get vows. When we look at traditional Gaudiya Diksha, it is giving the mantra, which is the essence. Gopu Kumar simply got a mantra from his guru. Then the guru disappeared, didn't give him the teachings or anything, to see him mantra. And then he chanted japa, that mantra, for a whole day of Brahma, and went up to Vaikuntha, etc. Lord Chaitanya got mantra, that's all. No ceremony, nothing, just mantra. Nityananda's got mantra from guru, finished, the guru disappears. No. So it was very simple. There was no ceremony at all. Diksha simply means you get the mantra from the guru. He may give you teachings, may not give you teachings. Finished. He doesn't give you a name even. Lord Chaitanya didn't get a name. Nityananda didn't get a name. They just got the mantra. That was the essence of Diksha. And that has been traditional. Janava gave Diksha, woman guru. She gave Diksha to thousands of people. Just the mantra, that's all. No teachings. Just the mantra. Finished. 1 second. Finished. Simple process. Prabhupada makes different statements about initiation. If you have understood this Krishna conscious philosophy, if you have decided that you will take Krishna consciousness seriously and preach the philosophy to others, that is your initiation. So simply take Hare Krishna seriously. That's all. That's initiation. That's real initiation, not the formal scriptural initiation, the real initiation. Chanting Hare Krishna is our main business. That is real initiation. And as you are all following my instruction of the matter, initiator is already there. So you're already initiated in one sense into chanting Hare Krishna. Now, next initiation, I was talking about the ceremony. It will be performed as a ceremony officially. Of course, that ceremony has value because the name, holy name, will be delivered to the student from disciplic succession. It's got some value. So there's a formal ceremony, which he calls Diksha also, but it's actually the internal one is more important. Formal ceremony is there, but internal is more important. He also says, why do you believe in rumors that first initiation is not so important? The second, I've already said, is equally important, but you say rumor. Actually, first initiation is more important. You can go without second initiation. So you don't even have to get the mantra. Just chant Hare Krishna. But then he also says, regarding your question, second initiation is real initiation. First initiation is preliminary, just to make them prepare, just like primary and secondary education. So, because we get all these statements, contrary statements, we get a little confused. What is Diksha? Is it first initiation, second initiation? Why we have two initiations? Actually, you only one Diksha Guru, but how are we getting two Dikshas? And then we also get a Brahman mantra, so we got a Brahman initiation also. So which is more important? Which is the real initiation? First or second? It becomes very ambiguous for us also. Or we could just internal, we accept Guru, finish, that's our initiation, which basically is Shiksha, chanting Hare Krishna, again, which is Shiksha. We call that initiation. First initiation, second initiation, Brahman initiation. So many initiations are there, what we can call initiation. So we do have to, it becomes a little confusing, and then the whole idea of who is the Guru, and then what is the function of the Guru, and who do I offer my respect to, and how much respect do I give him, etc. All these questions will also arise, and it becomes a little confusing. So that's why we do also have to take the scriptural definition, and that can also help us clarify, the functions of the different types of gurus by taking scripture. Yeah, I don't have too much time. Anyway, we do have a traditional thing called the Pancha Samskar, 5 elements of Diksha, which we can kind of analyze our system where we got 2 parts to it now when we didn't have before. This 5 parts is called Pancha Samskar. You get tilak, you get branded with Shankha and Chakra, with the brands, hot iron brands stuck on your shoulders, which we don't do. You get a name like Krishna Das or Gaur Das or Radharani Das or whatever. You get the mantra, the secret mantra, the 18-syllable Krishna mantra for us. And you get teachings on deity worship. So 5 elements are there. So we can say this what we call first initiation, which is not only in ISKCON we call it initiation. In Gaudiya Math they don't call it initiation, they call it namdan, simply giving the name. It's not initiation. You get your name and you get your tilak, so to speak. We don't do the branding. Then we get the initiation part, second initiation, which you get your mantra and you're qualified for deity worship. So that part is there, obviously. So looks like we've divided one Pancha Samskar into 2 parts. When you get your name in the first part, you get the mantra in the second part. Plus, we have an extra ceremony, which was technically divided in Bhaktisiddhanta's time. First, you get your Vaishnava mantras because you're qualified as a Vaishnava. Then, automatically includes Vedic mantra as well. So you give the Vedic mantra with the thread, etc., and the Upanayam fire sacrifice. So that's also there. There's an add-on, extra add-on. So this is how it was in the Gaudiya Math, Namdan, Vaishnava Diksha, and Vedic initiation. And ISKCON then, the first one becomes initiation also. It makes it a little confusing because it actually becomes initiation. But actually we have another initiation, which is the real initiation in one sense because it's got the mantra in it. And then we got this Brahman initiation also, where you get the Brahman thread and the Brahman mantra, the Brahma mantra, the Gayatri mantra. And there's a fire sacrifice to go with that. So we're getting 3 initiations technically. Okay, so the word Diksha is used by us, Diksha Guru, to include first and the second initiations. And even though, technically speaking, it's only the second initiation we should call the initiation, and even the Brahma Gayatri is not really essential even for deity worship. Simply you get your mantra, that qualifies you. So previously that was so, before Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. If you were Sudra or Mlechad, but you did get your Vaishnava mantra, then you were qualified to worship the deity. So you don't even need the Brahma Gayatri as such. That was introduced by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur only as a method to show that Vaishnava is actually superior to the Brahmana and can do whatever a Brahmana can do. But we don't want to really do Brahmana activities anyway. But worshiping the deity is separate from that. Okay. So actually, for most devotees, the second initiation is not so important except for deity worship. And the first one, that what we call the first initiation, becomes very, very prominent. And it's a very spectacular event with lots of devotees there, and then we have fire sacrifices, etc. It's quite a prolonged ceremony. You take vows, you get beads, etc. So this has become a very prominent feature, and we call this Diksha, even though technically it's not. We call this the Diksha part. This is what Prabhupada did, and we just kind of carry on whatever Prabhupada did. But we do have to also ask that Prabhupada did many things, but can we actually just do everything exactly the same and get the same results? And of course, sometimes we say, no, you cannot do the same thing. So originally the gurus are appointed, Srila Prabhupada, so the gurus started initiating, doing everything Prabhupada did. So they did everything exactly like he did. They got the same worship, they got the same vasasans, they did everything the same, but they ended up with a lot of problems that way. So they couldn't do that anymore. So then they had to alter that. We can't do the same as Srila Prabhupada. So at least they took the vasasans down and made it a little smaller. But it doesn't go that far. Do we have to have the same ceremonies in the same way, or can we alter these things or not? These are things subject to our contemplation. Why we would have to change anything at all? Well, the thing is we have to change things because there is a little problem has arisen because of the prominence of the Diksha Guru. As I said, the Diksha Guru gives Harinam, he gives vows, you get rituals, you get Shiksha, you get Deity Mantra, there's a Brahmana Diksha, so many things are concentrated on this one person, the Diksha Guru. A lot of expectation there. So one problem, of course, is in the Shiksha Gurus, those who are giving guidance on the practical basis to the disciples all along, they get ignored. We're giving all the worship to the Diksha Guru. Then we know that Shiksha is very important, and many of the gurus have thousands of disciples, they can't even give proper Shiksha, so somebody else is giving the Shiksha anyway. But yet, they don't get the credit for that. The Diksha Guru gets all the worship and the money and whatever. So we do have to have proper respect. And as the scripture says, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru should be treated equally. So that's one problem. Another thing, of course, is that Srila Prabhupada established this movement. It's a little bit different because we have many Diksha Gurus. Most movements only have one Diksha Guru. But we have many different gurus, Diksha Gurus. And we also have Srila Prabhupada. But then if the Diksha Guru becomes most prominent, then Prabhupada gets eclipsed, that's one thing. And then we have Diksha Gurus who are prominent, and this kind of divides up the society in different groups. So then the society is not one anymore, it's many. So we have two problems. One is Prabhupada is not prominent. Second is we get many different movements within ISKCON. And the Diksha Guru takes over the function of managerial authority as well as spiritual authority. And then the GBC is left powerless, and the Diksha Guru has all the power. So this is a problem we have if the Diksha Guru becomes too prominent. Because with that prominence of the Diksha Guru, then the disciples will have loyalty to that Diksha Guru rather than loyalty to Srila Prabhupada or to ISKCON. And that's a danger for the unity of the movement. So that's another problem with the prominence of the Diksha Guru. So ISKCON has tried to solve this problem to some degree. We have passed some resolutions in the GBC. ISKCON members shall be trained to place their faith, trust, and allegiance first and foremost in the founder Acharya, who is the preeminent Shiksha Guru for every member of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada is to be worshipped through his words, murtis, picture, and his devotees. So this is past, I think, 2013 or something. Yeah. So in other words, we have our Shiksha Guru, we have our Diksha Gurus, but then Prabhupada is there, we should give some extra emphasis to Srila Prabhupada. He should be the main Guru, even though he's not your Diksha Guru. He's a Shiksha Guru, but he's a generation removed, or in the future will be many generations removed, but we have to give promise to Srila Prabhupada. So this was some attempt by GBC, this rule, let's pass this thing to emphasize, give promise to Srila Prabhupada. Another one, 2013. All members of ISKCON for all generations are encouraged to seek shelter of Srila Prabhupada. All members of ISKCON are entitled and encouraged to have a personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada through his books, teachings, service, and his ISKCON society. 2013, we passed that. In spite of that, still, there's a prominence of the Guru, the Diksha Guru, in everybody's disciples' minds. And they will say, well, I can't surrender to so many people, I just going to surrender to one person. That's kind of a bogus thing. That's pointed out in Krishna Bhajanamrita. Father is like the Guru. He's older. His older and younger brothers are also Gurus. Father of one's father or great relative worthy of greater respect is also a Guru, but his worship should be double that of the father. So in the family, you worship many people. You don't just worship the father. You also worship his brothers. You also worship the grandfather. And you give more respect to the grandfather. So loyalty is not just one person, it's many persons. And also there's degrees of respect and worship. And the senior person gets more respect. So everybody gets the respect, but then senior person gets more respect. That's his family. So the same applies to spiritual life. We don't have one person. We have many gurus, Shiksha gurus, Diksha guru, etc. But then we have Srila Prabhupada, who is the senior, so he gets more respect. Natural. So we shouldn't use I can only worship one person. Obviously, we're not worshiping one person, because if you worship only Guru, you're not even worshiping Krishna. But we're worshiping Krishna, worshiping Nityananda, worshiping many forms of the Lord. So we can also worship many forms of Guru, Shiksha guru, Diksha guru, etc. In fact, we give respect to our whole sampradaya. And we, of course, is Shiksha, Parampara, we're tracing according to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Anyway, I think I'm finished here, but anyway, so we have our spiritual Shakti. Is it through ceremonies we're getting the Shakti? Through a fire sacrifice, which is a modern invention we put into ISKCON, but nobody else does that in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Is it through spiritual name, which Lord Chaitanya didn't get a spiritual name. Nityananda didn't get a spiritual name. It's getting beads. This is something we've introduced also, but Lord Chaitanya didn't get any beads, Nityananda didn't get any beads. These are things we put in. Diksha mantra, okay, that's Diksha, but it's for deity worship. Is it HareKrishna mantra? Ah, yes, definitely HareKrishna mantra. This is the Yuga Dharma. Is it through teachings? Yes. Lord Chaitanya emphasized teachings. Prabhupada emphasized teachings. Is it personal presence? Yes. But then, again, not just personal presence, but you have acharyas. We have Srila Prabhupada, and of course, Rupa Goswami and all the acharyas in the line. So it's not just personal presence. So, anyway, all of these are mediums. Everything, we don't reject anything. These are all things functional for us, for our devotion. So we get the Shakti through all of these things. But nevertheless, we do have to think of the broader terms. So we have to think of the unity of ISKCON, central place of Srila Prabhupada, and everything else. We have to think of Shiksha Guru as well as Diksha Guru, and they're both equally worshipped. One argument, of course, is that the personal presence of a person is very powerful. That's true. It's always true that they have a very influence on a person. But then that will apply to Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. They're both personally present. Nevertheless, we see within the Sampradaya, we're always emphasizing Parampara, worship the founders, worship the Goswamis, etc. So we do have to understand the influence of our previous acharyas, and we have to understand the influence of Srila Prabhupada and not reject that at any point in time. So the problem, or we say one of the main elements of ISKCON that we do have to deal with is how to make the presence of Srila Prabhupada most prominent. Do we have to reduce the influence of the Diksha Gurus? Do we have to modify it in some way? Do we have to modify the ceremonies that we attach to the whole Diksha process? Do we have to separate the first initiation, second initiation, understand their functions better? Do we have to understand the function of Diksha Guru a little more clearly? So these are all things that we have to keep in mind, and maybe we can come to a solution like that of putting Srila Prabhupada in the center somehow or other. Okay, anyway, that's as far as I can go. I can't have much time for questions because I have another meeting in half hour or so. Anyway. Somebody way back there.
Mike.
Hare Krishna. So sometimes we hear that Srila Prabhupada is there only in his books, and he never told that to hear his lectures. He only told that read my books. So means I am confused about this because Prabhupada is in his Vani. So books and lectures both are same only.
So which is better?
Means,
Well, yeah, Prabhupada's in his books, and of course in Prabhupada's time, the electronic mediums and things like that, and videos, except videos didn't exist at that time. They had 8mm movies maybe. So things were not so advanced then at that time. You didn't have MP3 players or anything. They got something better than that now, I think. So these things technologies were not there. We didn't have Zoom meetings or anything. So basically it was books at that time. Before that, there were not even books. There were palm leaf manuscripts for thousands of years. And that was very rare. In libraries, you could find them probably, or rich people's houses, but they weren't publicly distributed. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then they started publishing books, and they made this a very prominent thing with the printing press, etc. So that's one advantage. Now we got more advantage, so we can always take advantage of everything. Obviously, we do have to somehow stick it in our mind. If you can stick it in by hearing only, fine, as they did in ancient times, no books. They simply heard. If you can do that now through audio, whatever, fine. But if it's a little difficult, then you go to the books. You can use any method, but somehow you have to get the message. You have to get the knowledge.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have a similar question, Maharaj. Nowadays, we select Diksha Gurus based on hearing their audio recordings, videos.
Yeah.
And generally, in traditional times, there were no devices like this.
Yes.
So is this process of hearing bona fide, or?
Yes and no. We see direct interaction is more powerful than hearing over distance or whatever like that. As I said, they didn't have that previously. Of course, yogis could do it probably previously, but normal people couldn't. So you'd have to depend on personal interaction. And definitely the gurus wouldn't even give knowledge to anybody unless they looked at the person, interviewed him quite a lot, then they would speak to him, then they would understand, then they would give knowledge. So there was a whole process of screening. Nowadays, of course, knowledge is kind of universal. There's no screening, nothing. Everybody hears everything. So that's available for everybody. It's got plus and minus points to it, of course. Plus in the sense that it's good for preaching, minus in the sense that the guru has no control over who gets the knowledge and interprets it in any way he wants. So that's the problem there. But nevertheless, we can use whatever is available in the modern world to get inspiration. At the same time, we can never neglect personal interaction. So that should be there also somewhere along the line.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, this is last question. Maharaj, we heard that Diksha Guru takes away the sins of disciples.
You're not the only person that does that.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask the same thing. Does Shiksha Guru also, like when we
Well,
give...
you don't even need a Shiksha Guru. Ajamil didn't have any guru. He just chanted the name of Narayan, named his son Narayan. All of his sons gone, sins gone.
Okay.
You don't even need guru for that. Holy name does it. Just by hearing the holy name, you get all your sins gone.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So you can see some books, 160 books are displayed there. And who want these types of classes, and Prabhujis are allowed to scan this Wednesday class, 9:45. It's not recorded and it's not uploaded. You can come live and hear it. And then some of the books also is there, you can take. Thank you. Hare Krishna.